Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for video. I think it's 55. Today is October 23rd. It's a Saturday and it's around noon, but always takes a while. I have a lot of pictures that'll be uploaded with this one because I just got back on Sunday from the Midwest Fall Cross Stitch Retreat in Amana Colonies, Iowa, put on by Michelle Rudy, Farm Girl Dry Goods. That was a mouthful. Okay, so I got some things on my trip, stuff. I had a wonderful time. And it's just really, it's really fun to reconnect with people that maybe you've met over the Instagram, maybe you've met them at past retreats. I mean, it's just pretty wonderful. So anyway, I don't know where to start. I think first I'm going to start about what I've been stitching. And then, and then I'll do the retreat and then a little bit of haul at the end. Does that sound right? I can't hear you. Okay, so what have I been stitching? I had it all in order here, so we will attempt. Which, by the way, this was a Stitch Folk bag that I got from the lovely Laura. I did not go to their friends retreat in Utah, but I still got gifted with that, so that was pretty wonderful. It also came with this, the little needle case. I love these. You can see I use them. It has a needle minder with my initial. And Stitch Folk bags are fabulous. I don't usually click fast enough to get them. I think I have 2, but maybe 3, but they're wonderful. So what have I been stitching? Well, before I left, I was pretty monogamous with Jane Atkinson. There's a little bit of glare there. I'm sorry. This is an actual picture, so that's why there's a little bit of glare. This is by the Scarlet Letter. I'm stitching this on 40 count lentil by Lakeside Linens, and I'm using the called for, you could also use DMC, but I'm using the called for Avera Soie Soie d'Alger. If I had to speak French for a living, I would be on the streets. I can maybe say a little bit of Spanish because I took like 4 years in high school, but French, not so much. Oh, I get off on tangents. Anyway, Soie d'Alger. Beautiful colors. And so let me show you where I am on this piece. I did a lot of outlining before I left because I wanted to be able to do fill-in at the retreat. And yes, this is what I got done at the retreat. I filled all that leaf in. 3 days of stitching. That's all I got done. But it was better than nothing. And now I'm starting to fill in on the other leaf opposite. So this is how wide it will be. I think the measurements are 14.5 by 23. I have a fat half of the lentil. It won't obviously take that whole bit, but I don't want to cut it off until I get down further. So I have a lot of outlining done, and I just need to do some fill-in. So it was great to have that to do at a retreat. And here I have a loose needle. Okay. So like I said, this is the top. It's very colorful. It's beautiful. And actually, in looking at this, I thought this was a reproduction. But it actually says this needlework was designed after an English sampler in the collection of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. It's similar to a sampler made by Sarah Brignall. So I'm thinking it's kind of an adaptation rather than a direct reproduction. Has a lot of overwand. Can't wait to get to that big tree. But I probably won't like do this whole border, you know, as I normally do. I'll probably get down to here and work on the over one, and then also work down as I go. But I really thought there was no breakup in our future. I thought we were gonna be like soulmates forever, married, got a ring, everything. But as do all good relationships, we decided to take a break. We'll be back together at some point, but we're gonna take a break for now. So that is my Jane Atkinson. That's what I worked on before I went to the retreat, and some at the retreat. The other thing I stitched was my gift at the retreat, and I'll show you what I received later. But we had a smalls exchange on Saturday night, and this is an older with thy needle and thread. Brenda, I showed it to her. She said, she said that was probably a terrible chart. It wasn't a terrible chart at all. Anyway, I just stitched the top half. I did not stitch the words, in the meadow we can find, in the meadow we can build a snowman. I didn't stitch that. I just stitched the top half. I did change the red. I'm going to stitch it again for myself because I just loved it. Hopefully I'm going to have my husband insert a picture of it here. So that was Snowy Meadow. Now what I stitched it on was Beach Brew by R&R. And this was a 13 by 17 piece, and I still have plenty to stitch my own. Beach Brew, it has a little bit of a gray feel to it. So I decided, originally it called for Dirty, which is a Zweigart piece. I used mostly DMC. It called for a little bit more orangey red, and I wanted a more traditional Christmas red, so I changed the red to 816. And the white, I used whitewash. And this is a true white. I think the color it called for was just a little bit creamier. And you can build a yellow snowman. I don't want to build a yellow snowman. That was the saying in college, don't eat yellow snow. No matter how much you drink, don't eat yellow snow. Oh my, I tell all my secrets. I have to be careful. 816 was my change for the red, and the white is, let me see if I can get it to come around, Weeks Whitewash. It turned out really cute. I stuffed it with sawdust, and then I put red rickrack, the mini rickrack around the edge. You can see that from the picture. So I definitely am going to stitch this for myself. I think I'm going to name this video Betwixt and Between, because this time of year, we're only like, what, a week from Halloween, and yet there's still all of November that's part of fall. But then I'm kind of itching to do Christmas, so it's like I have trouble like one night stitching on fall and the next night stitching on Christmas. Call me weird. I know you already have. Anyway, that's one of the things that I stitched before I left. And then when I was at the retreat, I pulled out, let's see, it goes this way, Not Forgotten Farm, Reverend Squash Bottom. I would love to finish this, even if I don't get it framed, but I'd love to finish this year. So it's not going to be huge. I'm working on a piece of 40 count Winter Brew. The last piece was Beach Brew by R&R. This is Winter Brew. And let's see where I am. So again, as always, I'm working on the border. It's not going to be huge. That's the full size of it there. So I'm ready to come back down. Now I did change one of the colors on this because this is kind of a tan, toasty tan. It has quite a bit of, at first it looked a little like Country Mocha, but it definitely is R&R. I got it there, or from them at Dying to Stitch. And it smells like coffee. I love their things that smell like coffee, as in brew, you know, brewing coffee. Anyway, so this is Not Forgotten Farm. What's it actually called? The Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom. And then there's, I think his wife's name is Penelope Squash Bottom. So that will be next year, hopefully. Okay, the color I changed. So there's a lot of these little things that go around here. The second one you can see is kind of tan. And it's every other one is that color, okay? So it called for, just a second. It called for 422 DMC. I'm using all DMC on this one. It totally blended into the color of the linen. I think the actual linen that it calls for is either a little darker or a little grayer, so it would have shown up fine on that. But what I did, I went through my DMCs and I changed it to 3045. So 3045 is at the top, 422 at the bottom. And it's in the same tone, everything. It's just a little bit darker. And so now, even though it's light, it does show up. You can see those like right there. So I'm very happy with that. So I'm kind of on a roll with that. I'm gonna keep going because I really like it. It's not huge. I can't wait to get to his pumpkin head. It'll be wonderful. What else have I been stitching? Just these 4 things. The one I gave away, Snowy Meadow by With a Needle and Thread, Jane Atkinson, my current sampler, and Reverend Squash Bottom. And then, in my typical style. So the night before I was leaving on my trip, and I got up at 3. I like to leave the house by 4 to 4:30 if my flight's at like 6. Our airport's 20-25. At 4 o'clock in the morning, there's not very much traffic, but it's like 20-25 minutes away. And I like to be there early because I get like, until I'm actually sitting at the gate, ready to board. Oh, and Southwest was how I was flying. And the weekend before, they canceled 2,000 flights. So I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous. But I was flying to Atlanta and then changed planes and on to Kansas City. Then a good friend, thank you so much, Kay, and it was fun riding with you, Susie. She picked me up at the airport, I mean, like the minute I got in, got my baggage, and then we drove to Amana. But anyway, diversion. The night before I left, you know, I knew I was getting up at 3. I wasn't going to be last minute packing or anything. So I had all my stitching stuff packed, which of course I took too much, which I always do, thinking that I'm going to sit and stitch all the time. I wouldn't have stitched that much at home when I have quiet and I'm in my chair in my padded room. My daughter calls it a padded room because of all my fabric. Anyway, so I thought, okay, well, what am I going to stitch on the night before I leave? I'll start something. I mean, I had 3 finishes in September, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll start something. So I started going through some of my things, and I came across this, and I was like, I really want to start this. So this is Frederick, and this is by Carriage House. To me, this has a fall, it's Fractor, but it has a fall kind of vibe with the colors. I love it. And of course, in my fashion, I also have Frederica. She's a little bit different. They face, I guess you could have them going. I guess they face the same way. I was thinking they faced each other, but they don't. But the stuff around them, the actual colors of the birds are different. So this is I decided to start on Frederick. I did not work on this on the retreat because, like I said, everything was packed and this did not get included. But when I got home, I was like, I was really enjoying doing this. Now I have to figure out what's top and bottom. This is top and bottom. It doesn't super matter, but this is where I am on it. And it has all those little diamonds. Can you see it? And then you fill in the diamonds with various colors. I love it. And I'm really enjoying doing this. I'm doing this on, hold on. Because I also have this kitted. I'm doing this on 40 count pearl barley. I had 2 pieces like this. It doesn't give me a huge amount of margins, but it's enough. Like, it's not cut real even, so if you'll see the bottom, but it still gives me at least 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, almost 2 inches all the way around. And that, or those, I think there's a few different colors for the girl versus the boy, but those I'm using NPI. A lot of Kathy Barrick, Carriage House, they call for NPI, and I have a pretty good stash of NPI. So anyway, those are the colors for that. And that is all I've been working on. So what do I want to work on? You can pick anything in my whole huge stash and say I could want to work on it. A friend came over, let's see, it was a couple days before I left on my trip. And we were sitting around and, you know, we each had stitching, but we mostly were talking. And I said, do you want to see all my kitted samplers? And she's like, yeah. So I brought them out, start going through them. She's like, oh my gosh. I said, yeah, I know, I have a lot of work to do. Anyway, so do I keep working on fall? Do I start Christmas stitching? I have 2 quilts going. One is fall and one is Christmas. And I think I just need to not worry about it. I should just stitch whatever I feel like stitching, whether it's spring, patriotic, or whatever. But I really like to stitch in the season. Even if I don't finish it that year, I like to stitch in the season. Sorry, I'm moving the table. So this is one I mentioned before. I have it all kitted. It calls for legacy linen, 36 count, so it'll fit in all the boxes. My sister made this for my daughter. Every year at Christmas, she gets it out, and I'm like, I really want to make that. I have the box. I'm ready to go. Got the threads. They're all over dyes. I think there's a couple DMC. It's not a brand new pattern, but O Tannenbaum by With Thy Needle and Thread. So that's a possibility. And this is a wonderful project bag my friend Patty made. She sells them. Love them. Blackbird fabric. She knows I'm a sucker. She'll bring them when we get together for stitching. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have to have that. Then going back to fall, I was missing a few colors for these. A lot of people have done them. Go to Instagram, you'll just be overwhelmed with some of the cute displays of these. And I have the fabric. I was missing a few colors that I was able to get at a shop close to the retreat center. It's really a quilt shop, but they do have some cross stitch and floss. I'm gonna do these on the Brenda's Brew that it calls for, also by R&R. I think Brenda's Brew, I don't know when they first started dyeing that. Maybe it was for this, I don't know. I think I've had this piece for a while though. But anyway, I finally have all of the colors for those. Some are DMC and some are over dyed. And those would be really easy. I mean, like I could Some of them I think I could do, I don't know if I could do them in an afternoon, but it wouldn't take too long. And they're so cute. Okay, so that's another possibility what I want to work on. And then last but not least, and I'm, you know, after being, Brenda Gervais was our designer for the feature designer for the retreat. So I'm all about her stuff now, which I've always been all about her stuff. She has adorable, adorable, fabulous designs. She does some reproductions, everything. So anyway, this is Winter Rose Manor. I know a lot of people did this last year. I got this at the 2019 Amana Retreat, Fall Midwest. It was not kitted. We got the pattern. No, I take that back. I think we got the pattern and the threads, and then we got this as an additional pattern. Anyway, I came home, I was all excited. It calls for Dirty by Zweigart. The piece I have is really brown, really brown. I didn't bring it out, but it's so brown that the greens weren't even showing up, and I was really frustrated. So I put it away. So when I was at the retreat, and Brenda Gervais had a little pop-up shop, and we were able to buy some, especially her newest things. And I got a whole bag over here I'm going to show you because I'm a sucker. Anyway, and I guess I have to keep quilting. When I go to retreats, I'm going to have to keep quilting. Anyway, long story short, I saw her model of Winter Rose Manor, and it was not near as brown as mine. So, you know, maybe it was just a different dye lot or whatever from Zweigart. So in the meantime, and I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, but this is about the color of her model. So I'm going to restart Winter Rose Manor. I have all of the called for colors. A lot of people have changed the conch or conch. It's really a shell. You know, the one that you hold up to your ear and you listen to the ocean, because inside there is a little tiny ocean. Did you know that? But this is conch against this, and I think it's gonna work. I don't know. I may change it, we'll see. The whole house is in that color. It doesn't have to be overpoweringly pink to me. I mean, if it looks even close, you know, even her picture, it doesn't scream pink. So we'll see. But now that I'm settled on the linen, I'm happy about that. Like I said, I'm not sure. That might be Brenda's Brew. It might be Mayflower Blend. I'm pretty sure it's an R&R, but I'm not 100% positive. So those are some things that are on my radar. Now, what should I talk about next? I think I'm going to do regular haul first, and then I'll focus on the retreat. And hopefully this won't be, oh gosh, we're already at 23 minutes. I may have to talk really fast. This is a pattern that someone sent me, and I failed to mention it when I got it. So I just want to mention, and I'm not a fan of mentioning names. That's just me. So I just want to recognize, you know who you are that sent it to me. Someday it'll be on my Sunday school wall. If you don't know what that is, I want to do a whole wall of Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, there's various, some have the 23rd Psalm, some have the 10 Commandments. There's just a lot of biblical references. And so this one says, the heaven gave rain and the earth brought forth her fruit. I might change the colors of the green. They're just a little bright for me, but that would be cute. I don't think I mentioned this. I got this before I left. This is the Dying to Stitch Club with Pineberry Lane. This says late summer 2021. I think I got it in either August or September, but I didn't mention it. And then the latest Dying to Stitch Club is, there's two of them. One is Pineberry Lane. The other is Erica Michaels Berries. And this is called Blackberries, and the color is a really, really dark purple. Can you see? It's just beautiful. It's called Mulberry. So I'm remiss in not having done more of these berries, but they're beautiful. And the only other haul that I got, Carol Sims, and I hope you get well soon, Carol. She's Sampler Farm on Instagram. She is a prolific stitcher. I don't idolize stitchers, but she's definitely a hero. In my mind, she's a hero, stitching hero, heroine, whatever. That doesn't sound right either. Let's just say hero, okay? Anyway, she had finished this particular one, and I think it came out at Expo. I love it. Plum Street, The Gather Inn. I just love it. And it's done on graham cracker, 36 count graham cracker by Graham Cracker Fabrics, which is Teresa's son, Graham. He dyes fabric. So she sells it on her, on kittenstitcher.com, on her web store. So I got 40 count, but I got the graham cracker. It looks more gray. It's not that gray. It's really a very true neutral. Old Town Blend would be a good suggestion. It's a little bit lighter than Light Exemplar, but there's quite a few fabrics that are, it's just your classic. Now it does have some grunge, but that doesn't bother me. And then I have kitted that with a wonderful thread drop my friend Patty makes. See, I mentioned her name, but I buy these from her, so they're not gifts. Well, she did give me one as a gift. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it calls for DMC in weeks, so I have that all kitted up. And I would love to start that. So, and then I got the new Book of Days. Love this. This is from Needlework Press. This is for 2022. I faithfully write in mine. Even if I didn't do any stitching, I'll just put no stitching. So, Book of Days, Needlework Press, 2022. Love this picture. Love it. And also the one from, I don't know if it was this past year or the year past, and I don't remember the name, but the chart is now out because a lot of times they've put samplers on the front. Okay, let's start talking about the retreat. Yes, let's. So we drove, or I didn't drive, I rode with Kay. We got to Amana at, I don't know, 2 o'clock-ish, 2:30-ish. Got seated at a table. There's 3 long rows of tables, and I'll try to, I have a lot of just pictures that maybe not, I like pictures of people. So I'll try to include all that I can. I went around, I'm not good at selfies because I have really short arms. Anyway, long story short, Michelle Rudy, who puts on, she had these little mugs with a needle minder. They're metal. She had these at our table, and they were filled with goodies. They had candy. The theme was Christmas. Our project was Christmas. It was all Christmas. Our project that from Brenda Gervais. Anyway, long story short, this was at our table, and there was also this chart from Teresa Kogut. She was at the retreat. This was at our table. So those were like gifts from Michelle. I got another wonderful gift from a treasured friend. A little Saltbox, a little shaker pin cushion, adorable. I got this basket filled with floss and a cute little acorn. I didn't bring it out. Handmade felted acorn from another friend. And then I got tons, I put them all in here. I got tons and tons of floss drops, which I did not reciprocate because I don't have mine yet. I went around and around trying to decide what I want to put on them. Originally, I was going to put my background here, and then everybody's like, no, it has to be public domain. You can't use anybody's designs. But this is fun, just going through these and looking at the various pictures that people have done. This is the Unstitched Stitcher, and I believe her either daughter or granddaughter drew that. So it's just fun getting all of these. Some people put them on cards. This is from Sue Ream. She is at sampler_gal on Instagram. They're just fun to look through and to collect. So anyway, I got those. I got a wonderful gift from, again, Sue Ream. This is a picture that she has actually stitched. And she put on the back, Fall Amana Retreat. She also made me a pen that goes with it that is from the same print. Adorable. And her floss cards. So that was cool. Before I left, hopefully you all watch, I don't think I showed this before. I don't think so. Hopefully you all watch Prims on Greenway, Lisa. I sent her an extra Maggie Bononomy book that I had. I had bought 2. I couldn't find the first one, and so I instead bought a second one. They're out of print. So here I found the first one then, and so I had 2. And anyway, as a thank you, she sent me one of her autograph books. If you haven't seen these on her floss tube, you need to check it out. Prims on Greenway, because these are adorable. So I did go around at the retreat and had lots of people sign my book. Just like when I remember being in 8th grade and having an autograph book. It's just fun. The pages are beautiful. And so that's a wonderful memory. Her handwriting almost looks like calligraphy. It's fabulous. She made a little, see if I can get it straight here. And then she made a little paper clip that holds it shut. Wonderful. On one of my last videos, I had talked about, I might have to do this in 2 sessions. A and B, 1 and 2, part 1, part 2. This I got from Kitten Stitcher because this was part of the Salt Lake friend retreat that some of the people I'm kind of in a group with. She named it Salt Lake. It's 36 count. It's gorgeous. Thank you, Teresa. Anyway, then a wonderful gal by the name of Sandy, and she's on Instagram as Quilts43. Fabulous quilter, fabulous stitcher, and we were kindred spirits immediately. She has done a lot of the primitive quilts that I like, and I had mentioned that I wanted to start this. I have it all pulled. I want to start hand appliquing the pumpkins. Even if I don't finish it this year, I really want to do that. And when I had talked about it, I said I thought I had the border fabric, but I wasn't sure, but I could probably find some. So here she brings over and gives me the border fabric. I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so nice. And many of the fabrics that I have that I'm going to be using are the same ones from this book that was put out probably, well, it's put out in 1997, but I still have some of these fabrics. So when she brought me the border fabric, which is this stripe, I was just overwhelmed. Thank you, Sandy. That was so, so nice, and so, so nice. Okay, we went to the Woolen Needle on Friday morning, and I have things that I want to show you from there. And then Friday night, we had our gift exchange. So in other words, we brought a gift. It wasn't stitched. It was, you know, people brought project bags, all kinds of different things. And then we got to pick a gift. So this was part, there were some other goodies in it of what I got. This is, I got Teresa's gift, Teresa Kogut. So it had this Stacy Nash pattern. It had this wonderful thread drop, angelic, and it had 2 pieces of beautiful fabric. I think they'll make great project bags. I don't make project bags anymore, but my friend makes them. So when I give her the fabric, then she'll make them and I just buy them. So that works out good. Saturday night was the stitched exchange, smalls. So this one gets interesting because this one you can steal. Now, you don't go pick one and then decide you don't like it and then steal, because that would be rude and hurt the feelings of the person that you open their gift. So the first person goes up, there's a huge table of gifts. Anybody can participate or not, you know, your discretion. But if you stitched one, and that's the one I did, the Snowy Meadow. So we had tickets, they call your number. First person goes up, they can pick from any of those. Obviously they can't steal because they're the first person, but they get to go at the very end and pick from all of the project or all of the pieces. So when my number was called, I went and I stole something. It was the cutest little box. It was blue, painted blue, had the little Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread Christmas mouse. And then it had a drawer, had goodies in it, plus candy. So I put it in my lap and I thought, I won't keep this. Now, once you have somebody has stolen from you, you get up and you pick another gift, and or steal. Well, after it got stolen from me, I got up to do either pick one or steal, and I decided to steal. But then I was safe, so nobody could take it because you can't steal from somebody twice. And this is what I got. How fabulous is this? It has a thread drop, it has the greenery, scissors, one of these cute little fobs. I think Lori Holt's daughter has a tutorial on them. It has a key, it has some anchor floss tied on. Not to speak of the beautiful stitching and then the ticking. This is fabulous. And the funny thing is, I have this pattern. I had gotten it out the week before I left and thought I should make that one of these days. That's adorable. It's fabulous. Now, her name, who made this, is Jennifer. I'm going to say either Weintizer or Wintizer. And she put a little description of what it is, what it's stitched on. She told me the whole story of how she gets her cedar sawdust. It's just nice and firm and sturdy. I just love it. I was able to take all this apart when I flew home so that it all kept safe and in good shape. Fabulous. So on Friday morning, we went to the Woolen Needle, and I got a few things there. The first one I got is this pattern, Vintage Geese. It's flying geese, scrappy, and then a medallion style border, or a what's it called? It's printed like in stripes so that you can cut it and fussy cut the border and then put it in between. Got that one, and then I got this one called Dancing Lilies, and this is using a Tri-Rex ruler, all those triangles, and you actually cut strips of fabric, and then you cut one this way and then one this way and then one this way, and then you sew them all. You cut them apart and sew them back together again, because that's what quilting does. And then I got this is a mat, whoops, upside down, and this is called the Scalloped Stars kit with the pattern. They do a lot of their own patterns. I got the red one, and as you can see, it's a very dark red. I thought it'd be pretty at Christmas time, even just to put a candle. These are the colors for the stars, And then you blanket stitch the stars, and then you stem stitch in between to connect the stars. Really easy. I got this lovely little pin cushion called the sheep pin cushion. It's a round pin cushion that you put that little cute, adorable sheep, lamb. And these are the colors. You can tell it's kind of a tealy, greenish blue wool. Let me see if I can, there we go. That's a little bit better picture. I haven't taken these out of the bag. Then they had a deal where if you buy 3 kits, you get the pattern for free. This is by Threads That Bind. It's called the Folk Art Sampler. Crow, mat, heart and hand, sheep, and a pillow. I got 3 kits. If you buy 3 of the 4. They did not have, they were out of the pattern, but they have since sent it to me. So thank you, Woolen Needle. What a fabulous store. Hardwood floors, just, if you have a chance in Williamsburg, Iowa, you've got to go because it's fabulous. So the 3 kits, this is for the little checkerboard sheep. This is for the heart and hand, backing, everything. And this is for the crow mat. I think a very similar wool to what was on the little sheep pin cushion. So, and then I also got some pieces of wool yardage for rugs. I needed some more for one of the rugs I'm doing. I'm very slow. And I'm not totally happy with my loops and everything, so I just need to practice more on my rug hooking. Anyway, okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about Brenda at the retreat, her shop, and her presentation. So on Saturday, she gave a presentation. I think Friday we could start going into her pop-up shop. Saturday, she gave a presentation. I had seen some of these in the past. Somebody came to Jacksonville for a rug hooking retreat. I don't remember her name. I wish I did. If she watches my videos, I'm sorry. Please comment and let me know. She had quite a few of these, and I'll insert some pictures at the end. Brenda had maybe like 10 or 12. They're called show towels, and they were originally done by girls. They're not samplers. What they are is linen towels, hand spun and grown, and they're done by communities in the 1800s, Pennsylvania Dutch in Pennsylvania. And they put these motifs, and this type of community was very utilitarian. So everything they did was a useful product. But because girls, well, they would do their sampler first, and then they would use some of the same motifs from their sampler. This was a handout she gave, to put on their show towels. And the show towels then would have tabs at the top, and some of them are 4 foot long, some of them are less, some of them are more. And they would hang them on the doorway because they would have pegs on the doorway so they could hang these show towels. Anyway, it was tremendously interesting. She gave a lot of the history of the show towels. She had, obviously, this is part of her collection. She gave us the little needles, and this was a little card she had made. These are part of her collection of show towels. But they would hang them on the doors for different things. I think she said like when somebody has a baby or just to adorn their house. So for a community that was very hardworking, utilitarian, everything had to have a purpose. This was one of the things that girls, probably 13 to 15, would make, embroider, stitch, kind of as a, I don't want to say bragging, but as a show for their gift as a stitcher, to also use eventually in their own homes. And then she gave us this little pattern for little pin keeps using some of the same motifs from the show towels. Tremendously interesting. I was fascinated, especially since I had seen some before. And like I said, this one gal, she came to Jacksonville, separate issue, but she came for a retreat, and she asked the gal that was putting on the retreat if they would call me and have me come over, because she wanted to show me those show towels, and they were fabulous. Okay, so then our project, and you know, I really don't remember what happened what day. I should keep better track of this. Our project that everybody's gonna be jealous about, but this should come out sometime next year. This is called Santa Stops Here. I did put a picture on Instagram. Of course, I had Brenda sign it. I haven't even opened any of it because it's just so fabulous. This was the extra pattern that came in the kit. We got all of the linen, the beads, the threads. And even though I'm primitive in my decorating, I do like traditional Christmas red and green. I mean, I like primitive too, but I also like traditional. And this is the pattern. I sound like I'm from St. Louis. Pattern. This is the pattern. Adorable. And because it was in Amana, which is very much German roots, Candy House, H-A-U-S, Santa. We got a thread drop, a needle minder. Let me see if I can get the needle minder to move. Just the whole 9 yards. And when you open a package like this, even had candy in it, it's just so, you know, the awe factor is just like crazy cool. So that was our wonderful, wonderful project for the retreat. And again, it came in one of these wonderful boxes. I have one from the Mayflower, and I have one from Winter Rose Manor. I just love them. I will keep the boxes. Yes, I will. Okay, so what did I get at her shop? So she had some linen. I got 3 pieces, salt marsh, sheep straw. These are all R&R linens. I got all 40 count. And I got a piece of 40 count 18th century blackbird. This was the biggest kit that I got. This is a new book that's coming out. It's called The Snowball. Completely kitted, rickrack. You can see there's those little buttons on there. We even got the buttons with them. So full kit, beautiful. I got a kit for this. This is another one of her new ones. It's just come out. This is called A Winter's Day Visit. Kitted. I mean, if you can buy it kitted, why not? This is a new one that she just came out with, the Redbird Sampler. And this one didn't come with linen, but came with all of the threads. So I just need to, I'm not sure what linen. I need to look and see what linen that calls for. I got this one, Cup of Christmas Cheer. And she sets up her little pop-up shop, just like if you see on her Instagram, Brenda Gervais. If you see a lot of the way she displays and her presentation is just fabulous. So now you see why I'm betwixt and between. Do I stitch fall? Do I stitch Christmas? Do I stitch both and not even worry about it? And this one was kitted right down with the little felt, little snowball that goes on his hat. Adorable. I got this one kitted. This is called Bells on Christmas Day. Oh, Bells of Christmas. Comes complete with the ribbon and the bells to put here. That's a quick stitch too. There's not a lot of stitching to that. What else is in my bag of goodies? I got this one. Okay, so there's been a lot of, I don't know, FOMO, fear of missing out, because on her website, Country Stitches Online, she has had some special exclusive kits, and they were limited. I had 2 friends that said if she has the pattern, would you get the pattern? They were limited. We all could get a limited amount. This one is called Sugar and Spice. It's not out yet. Adorable. Adorable. I mean, she is talented beyond talented. And then I also got the Halloween one. I did not get the fall one. She did not have enough of the fall, but I will be getting it when she has it on her website again. So the Halloween is the pumpkin. The fall is also a pumpkin. And then she had some nice little sorry for all the noise. This was also something that Michelle gave us in our metal mug, were these pins, and you can use those. Which, by the way, Michelle has her new website, farmgirldrygoods.com. Try to link it below. And then Brenda also had some little goodies like this. And inside was a waxer. I mean, doesn't that just make your heart sing? It smells so good. I just collect these. I don't even use them. They're these black wax. Love them. Complete with just, I mean, just. And then she had some of these. I got this one. It says, remember, time will come when we must give account to God, how we on earth do live. And they're just like a little stitching tray that you can, I don't think she made these, but I don't know. Maybe she did, because the back says, it says a needleworker's tray with a needle and thread. It's just kind of a picture that's decoupaged in there. Love it. That's my haul. That's my things I got from Brenda Gervais. I have been doing some quilting. I'm going to have my husband insert this picture, not the picture, I can show you the picture. I have finished the inside of this quilt. Don't look too closely. This is by I showed you this last time. It's called Santa Jack, and it's by Primitive Pieces by Lynda. I love her designs, and I still have to do this border. I have to do the little red border. So there's borders on 3 sides. But there's first this little, it calls for an orange one. I'm not doing orange. This almost looks orange. Mine is totally red and green. I think I have a tiny bit of orange in mine. But anyway, and then I have to do the 3 borders around. And then I'm going to hand applique the big stocking on there. I love her designs. I've met her. Wonderful lady. Her instructions are definitely not for beginners. If you've ever done a quilt with templates, you'll know what I mean. And a lot of her cutting leaves edges on the bias, which I'm not a fan of. So like a lot of these are on the bias. And I use quite a bit of homespuns. Also, I use brushed. They're not flannel. They are brushed on one side, so they're kind of soft on one side, and the other side is like homespun. Moda calls them wovens, but I've always called them brushed. and they are, they just have a lot of give to them because they're a little bit looser woven. So for those, and then to have them on the bias, I definitely have some points that do not match. But as my friend says, you've only got so many perfect points in your life when you do quilting, or perfect corners on binding. So if you want to use them all on this quilt, that's fine. But just remember, you only have so many that'll you'll get in your life. I did not use very many on this quilt. My points are not that great. Anyway, long story short, once it's quilted, it'll be fine. So I'm in the process of doing that. I'll have him insert a picture of that. And then there's also another quilt. I don't know if I've shown you this one. We put it on the wall. It's it was from an old Better Homes and Gardens magazine. It's got 4 pumpkins, and it was by Jan Paddock. It's one of the few I hand appliqued and hand quilted. I used to do a lot more hand quilting, but not big quilts. So I'll have him insert that, and I think that's it. I hope. If there's anything else I forgot, shame on me. Anyway, obviously I have a lot of stitching to do. I'm excited to dive into some of these. They're just adorable, and can't wait. So anyway, hope you're having a good day. My grandson has a baseball game at 3 o'clock, so we'll be going to that. And hopefully this won't be too hard for my husband to insert the pictures. Most of them I'm going to put at the end from the retreat. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you to everybody that gave me gifts. Thank you to everyone that went to the retreat and gave me kind words. Thank you to, the other thing, we had in the 2018 Midwest retreat, there was a picture taken of some of us that was the 5 and under club, because I'm short. So there were pictures of people that were 5 foot or less. So then this time we reunited the 5 and under club, and then we also have pictures, and I don't have those. I need to get those from Michelle because she took the pictures. And then we also had not a 6 and over. Nobody was over 6 foot, but there was a 5'10" and over. So you have the long and short of it, of all of us stitchers. But thank you to people that were so kind. Thank you, Michelle. Your retreats are fabulous. And I know you put a lot of work into it, and I've already signed up for next year. I'm excited. So anyway, go to Farm Girl Dry Goods, support her business, and keep stitching. Love ya. Bye.